My name is Serhii, but you can call me Sergio, Sergi, as you like. I'm a senior software engineer. Now work at MacPo, at ClimaMac and Setup. Previously worked at Riddle, at Spark Email, and a little bit of in Printer Pro. So yeah, as my friend told, I'm originally from Ukraine. Estudiaba en España, en Valencia, and now live and work in Boston, United States, and really love Europe. Yeah, so as you see, today's talk is about alternative marketplaces. So I just wanted to share why am I exactly me about here. So since I work at MacPo happened to have like an alternative marketplace set up mobile, and I happen to be its developer. And luckily, I managed to have different points of view about this matter, not only like as a marketplace developer, but also as a user, and even as an app developer who integrated their apps into an alternative marketplace, all right? So, and today I'm really happy to share about all three points of view about that. Yeah, but first, I'd like to mention that my talk is not going to be like, a promotional marketing. I'm not going to promote, I'm not going to judge about, like, promote any marketplace or judge how good or bad, like, the implementation of anything is made. I'd like to really keep it today more technical, fun, and insightful, and I'm really going to show you how it works now and what can you do with that, with the current state of technology, all right? So today we're going to talk about a little about history of side loading and alternative marketplaces. Then I'm going to show you on the slides how it works and how it looks like. Then I'm going to share with you what you can do with that available path for app developers. So a quick recap with key takeaways and questions, and hopefully answers at the end. All right, but first, I'd like to make a little bit interaction, a little bit quiz with you guys. So please raise your hands who used iPhone OS before Mac App Store was introduced. Anyone? Wow, that's pretty long, right? Cool, thank you. All right, then who used Cydia before App Store was introduced? So I love that. Wow, you're so great people, I love that. And who already heard or maybe tried even using the official alternative marketplaces after iOS 17.4 was introduced? Raise your hands, guys. Oh, there are some people, right? Well, that's cool. But I'm good that many people also haven't used them. So I will be helpful today for you. And the last one, really, please raise your hands whose Apple ID is not, the country of your Apple ID is not in the European Union. Anybody here? Yeah? All right, guys, so I've got some bad news for you. You could not try that right away, to try the alternative marketplaces, but the good news, you have me here, so I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna show you how to fix that. So while you're in Italy, you could try that as well, all right? Oh, let's just run a little bit about the history. So when, as we know, the iPhone OS first was introduced, there weren't any third-party app stores. I mean, there wasn't even first-party app stores as well, because there were just a preset of native apps made by Apple. And the vision at that time was the missing functionality could be achieved using progressive web apps. But the need of side loading was all the time with iOS. So iPhone OS, 1.1, Cydia was introduced to be able to sideload the native apps to the iPhone, as well as a few other tools like Installer App, etc. And then, a few years after, iPhone OS 3 was introduced with App Store, featuring around 200 apps from the very beginning, really cool apps. Between that time and in iOS 16.3, I skipped that a little bit because there wasn't really something big happening. Cydia existed, sideloading existed, but it required jailbreak. And each year, with each iOS release, jailbreak required more and more efforts to do that. Well, in iOS 16.3, a little friend count3D was introduced in iOS. But basically, at that time, that was made to comply with the South Korea law. But the next year, oh boy, there were some pretty big changes. So at the very start of 2024, like rumors were circulating before that a little bit, but in early 2024, alternative marketplaces support was introduced for iOS exclusively for the European Union, and Marketplace was powering all of that. And there was a little thread as well, eligibility daemon, which we will talk about a little bit later. Then a few, maybe weeks or months after, in a minor update of iOS, the web distribution became available on all of the apps that were illegal. Yes, illegal, it's not that simple. Because before, web distribution was only available for alternative marketplaces. So, in fact, that was the only way to get them. There wasn't, and they're not available through the App Store or other marketplaces. Yeah. And the latest big change happened in iPadOS 18. So all this stuff became available on iPads as well. Alternative marketplaces, web distributions, etc. So let's see how it works. But before, so first, I really wanted to share you how it looked like at the very beginning, at the very start, when all the thing was introduced. There is like a small clip of the explanation video, of a guide video, how to install Setup Mobile. Yeah, I said I won't advertise any marketplace, but in most cases, I think I will use Setup Mobile because I developed it so I had like a direct access to it, so it was easier for me to create some references. So let's see how the first installation looked like.
Tap Install Setup Mobile. Your phone will warn you that you are installing a marketplace by MacPaulWay Limited from the web. Tap OK to confirm. Next, move from Safari to your iPhone settings. There, you'll find the message, Allow Marketplace from MacPaulWay Limited, under your Apple username, and tap on it.
Same actually as profile installation.
Tapping Allow. Now go back to Safari to the Setup Mobile page, and tap Install Setup Mobile. Next, tap Install App Marketplace. Tap Continue. Another verification, and Setup Mobile starts downloading.
Yes.
Okay, so now you have Setup Mobile.
All right. Process, as you see, wasn't really straightforward. You had to go to settings, go back, but to be honest, this was like only the first installation of the marketplace. You didn't have to do that all the time. So, I mean, go to settings, go back. If you allow like alternative marketplaces from this developer, the process next time would be faster. So when I was preparing for this demo, I decided to like record how it looks right now, and a little hint, it looks much better now in iOS 26. So as you see, I've tried doing that, installing like Setup Mobile on iOS 26, but I encountered a little error because I was using like an American Apple account in my App Store. So this is probably what you're gonna use, guys, who have like non-European Union Apple account in App Store. But if you switch that to the one that has like a country of the European Union, now you'll be able to install that. So you will see like a new UI of the confirmation sheet, and you just need to confirm with the Face ID. And yeah, this is it. The iOS even shows you a progress of the installation. Is it here? And it even offers you to open the recently installed marketplace. So you see, like this was a giant breakthrough for that progress. And to be fair, I also added like an examples how I installed a few other marketplaces as well on my iPhone. The process looks pretty much the same and pretty straightforward, pretty quick. You don't have to like to exit and go to settings and go back, right? All right. But the one thing to keep in mind, not all browsers are supported for that. So initially it was only Safari, but now I tried Safari, Firefox, and Brave, and all that works. In this example, I used Arc, that unfortunately does not support it. So if anyone here from the browsing company, please know. All right, so I understand it as the reason why web browsers should have applied for like a special entitlement that allow to install alternative marketplaces or just the regular apps from the web, because there is a strict rule that this action might be like an explicit action from the users, and the browser should not allow automatic installation if it's like a redirect or a JavaScript event. So this is not allowed, only like a tap or click from user, all right? And then there is, if you have more than one marketplace installed on your phone, you can go to the app settings of any of it, and there is like you'll be able to set there a default marketplace. But this is not like one descriptive choice, but it's rather a list with the priorities. And the top priority marketplace will be used to populate the spotlight, suggestions in Safari, and in Serhii. If it does not, next one marketplace would be used as well. And this is something that your web server could do to populate the apps that are available at that marketplace to the place known by Apple, as the documentation states. And here come these two guys, eligibility and country D. They are greatly responsible for allowing and not allowing that functionality on your phone. Currently, it's allowed only like in the European Union, with a grace period of 30 days. If you get outside of it, you could use it as you used to. So let's start with country D. So this little daemon, this is a documentation page from manual. So what it does, it basically evaluates a few like factors to say in which country it believes the iPhone is. So the list is not complete, but these factors include like the last GPS coordinates on the phone, the nearby cell tower's country code, nearby Wi-Fi country identifiers, enrolled SIM cards or eSIM country codes, and iPhones could really can even communicate with the nearby devices by Bluetooth and also ask them, hey guys, where we are, all right? So eligibility D uses the country D result, the country, but not like completely, because eligibility D is not only used for marketplaces or access to NFC capacities of the iPhone. It also used like to limit Apple Intelligence, screen mirroring, etc. So it also uses like the country D result, also device model and idiom, whether like it's phone or iPad, because on iPad initially there wasn't available like marketplaces. Also device model numbers, if it's like this device is manufactured specifically on a specific market. So the current selected region in settings, and of course like the country of the Apple account that is logged in the App Store. So finally, if we have everything set up, we can sideload an app in an app marketplace. So by default, when you try installing an app from a marketplace, a confirmation form like that, like this, will be shown for you. Pretty similar to those we've seen when we installed App Marketplace, but this could be disabled in settings. So I will do that shortly in the video. If we go to App Settings, there is a little switch over there to disable the confirmation messages when we install apps. Now when we install another app, we just can do that directly from the app without like Touch ID or Face ID confirmations, all right? Yeah, so this is pretty it. And why I showed it to you, it's more relevant to if you develop an app marketplace, but I just wanted to share that basically there are two ways app marketplace could install an app. The first one, using like a system marketplace kit action button, and this one is pretty tricky because it's not a subclass of a UI control, it's just a UI view. It's rendered in a separate process in XPC, and it might not show sometimes, and this behavior difference in different like iOS releases. So previously, if like the eligibility D said that, oh no, this feature is not allowed, this button wouldn't render at all, and also it wouldn't render on simulators. Now it's rendered always, but it might not be shown also if it's covered. So we tried playing with it, like to customize it. Yeah, I forgot to say that it's not quite customizable. It has some basic features, like to background colors, corner radius, but you cannot access its layer or UI view directly. Yeah. We still needed to use it at that time because another way to install an app is programmatically using your own, like any control you would like, using an API called Marketplace Kit App Library. But the thing is, if users disabled that confirmation sheet previously, it only works like that. If user has like a confirmation sheet enabled, it didn't work because it has to be like an explicit action with a confirmation. But now App Library is a preferred way to use and to install the app if you ever come to developing your own marketplace. So as you see in like setup mobile marketplace, that on the left is not an actual action button that could install, and we came of having like a little pop-up as well with actual marketplace button with a simpler UI and handling the case when it's not displayed. I know AltStore and maybe other marketplaces also use the same trick, so this is the reason why we do that, all right? So what happens if an application already installed, let's say from the App Store, like a VPN client? Well, Marketplace Kit cannot tell you directly that the app will install, but the user will see this alert stating that app déjà installé. I guess it's made for privacy reasons to not allow third-party marketplaces to track which apps are installed on the iPhone and not to make any promotions like, oh, we have it cheaper, come to us. Yeah, but there is a trick how you could. So the way to install the app from the other distributor is to delete it and install a new. But there is a little trick you can do that. So iOS has offload functionality when like you're running out of space on your iPhone. So you can just upload the app itself, but iPhone says the app data. So you can do the same thing manually in settings, in storage settings. And when you press the install, it will be installed, and all your data, most of it, will be saved here. So this is a little trick. And a new thing in iOS 26, really cool one that I like, so Apple allowed us also handle the parental controls features. So if an application has age rating like more than a child Apple account, it's now able to support this thing. So managed account can send a request to parents to confirm an app installation. So which paths are available for you as a developers? I see 4 different options. The first one is do nothing. Okay? But this is the easiest one. Next one, you could distribute your app through your own website. This is the path for the strongest one. Or you can partner with an alternative marketplace and distribute your app in there. Actually, you could do both. It's possible. Or finally, you can create your own alternative marketplaces, which is like a hardcore mode. Why is that? Well, the second and the last option are pretty similar. Why? Because the technical requirements are pretty much the same. Yeah, I will show them later. But the legal things are a little bit different. So if you choose to distribute your app through your own website, I'd like to compare it like with an American talent visa. So the second option is like O1 talent visa, a little bit simpler, while the last one requires quite bigger requirement that you would have. So what are they? Let's say you want to distribute your app through your own website. So you have legal and technical requirements. So legal requirements require you, so you have to, your legal entity have to be entitled in the EU, or you have like a child company or any partner company, and you have to list it in the App Store Connect. Your Apple developer account has to be in a good standing for more than 2 years. And your app has to have like more than 1 million of first annual installs. So what is first annual install? Basically, if user install an app on their iPhone, then deletes it, then installs again then moves to a new iPhone and restores it from the backup, or anything happens, so it's just one first annual install. So it's a unique install to a specific device of a specific user, right? And finally, you will have to sign the alternative EU terms addendum. So basically, this includes like the core technology fee. I would say that right now it's pretty much more relaxed than it was initially, because now the Apple developer subscription already includes 1 million free first annual app installs in your membership. So you would only pay if you overcome if your app overcomes 1 million of first annual installs per year. And for each first annual install, if I remember correctly, but the numbers might change. Right now, I guess it's like 50 cents. And when you're enrolled, yeah, you will have to follow the laws, of course, to respond to the government requests for your app, publish transparent data collections policies that you have, and react on possible fraud or legal actions if if some users use your app for some fraud or illegal activities, right? And what about technical requirements to distribute, to use your own web distribution or an alternative marketplaces? So you have to do one-time setup in App Store Connect, so you have to have your own website, right? You have to supply App Store Connect with a public key that will be used to validate the installations that will guarantee that your app is really your app and it's not altered, all right? So when you use the alternative distribution, you will submit your app for notarization. Notarization is not the same as the App Store review. Notarization rules are much more less, and they focus on security requirements, and you're still not allowed to copy another application and publish it. So on iOS, it's not the same as on macOS. In macOS, the notarization is mostly automatic, yeah, and usually lasts for minutes. On iOS, it's a little bit more longer and still involves a review from a human. But in my experience, it should be pretty fast for all the apps that we have that pass the notarization process. So when your application passes the notarization, its packages and all the data uploaded to App Store Connect, and your web service have to download the packages, the signature, and other resources from App Store Connect to your own website and host it there. And after a user requests an installation either from web browser or an alternative, from the web browser in our case, you have to implement your web servers, implement licensing, installation request, update request, restore request that comes directly from the phone that sends it. And optionally, but most likely, you also will need to implement authentication flow support if you want to limit your installation app access to a limited users, let's say only for those who are signed up and probably have a paid subscription or paid a one-time fee, right? So, and this is the technical requirements. When you distribute through an alternative marketplace, you still have to sign the addendum with the core technology fee, but basically you will need just to establish the connection with the alternative marketplace in the App Store Connect. And it's not that hard. The alternative marketplace will share with you a token that you will introduce in App Store Connect, and the connection would be established. And so it's not even, let's say, it's not really a technical thing, but still requires step. But the real technical step is just to adjust your app behavior depending on the distribution, and integrate app framework from alternative marketplaces like we do in Setup, because the business model of Setup Mobile is a little bit different. It's a single subscription and you can use all the apps, right? So for that, some marketplace developers have their frameworks to facilitate integration with alternative marketplaces. There is also some limitation of the APIs you might use when distributed alternatively. They're not that much, so if you're not distributed through the App Store, the store kit obviously is not allowed with in-app purchases because it's now managed by a third party, and on-demand resources are not all also available for your app. But you still have your App Store Connect page, resources, etc., and the releases, so you can have them both. So your app can distribute through the App Store and an alternative distribution and your website. So it's a single app, and you have to adjust the behavior. So when distributed alternatively, use some ad distribution keys for ads, custom e-commerce solution because analytics would not be available in App Store Connect. The social gaming features are allowed only if you have this app at the App Store. Then this is fine. And again, background assets for large file downloads. So this is basically a code snippet that you can use to define like the distributor that downloaded your app. It's pretty short, and this is the only place you would need to use like the marketplace kit actually. But it's important to remember to use this /can import if, because the marketplace kit is only available in starting from iOS 17.4, and most of the apps support like the minimum iOS target is less than that. Okay, so remember to use can import thing when you do this check. If you want to define the marketplace, it has a param in the enum with the bundle ID, so you have to know the bundle ID of the marketplace you're partnering with. All right. And then how to test your app. So during the development, testing would be performed pretty much easily in the Xcode. You can run your app in a simulator on a real device. And there is some special parameters that allows you to alter like the alternative distribution source. During the pre-release, you can use TestFlight as well, but it's only in-house testers on the developer devices for alternative distributions. And to debug and test your server functionality, like licensing, install verifications, token installations, restorations, etc. So you have to do it manually or with unit testing. And then when your app passes denaturalization, you can do that on a real iOS device. So this is how it looks in Xcode. In the project setting, in build settings, you can set either if it's app distributed through the web, or set a bundle ID, so marketplaces that you partner with. And then in your schema settings, in run settings, in options, you can choose the distribution. It can be either website, TestFlight, App Store, and if you add some bundle IDs of marketplaces, they will also be there in this setting. And the same goes for the test plan as well. So what are our takeaways? So site loading is here, it's live, and it's available. It's still on the early stage, technically, but already pretty much matured through the, from the last year, and it's pretty much easier to develop in all senses because, like when we were just starting, I was only able to develop that while being in the European Union. Now you can do that worldwide, anywhere to test on your development devices. The market is currently EU-based, so it might expand, but I prefer not to talk about that today, all right? And alternative marketplaces, I believe, is a pretty great place for innovation, for creating a different financial models or different apps, because notarization rules are more relaxed than the App Store. So another kind of apps may even appear and available on iPhones, like Downy on the setup mobile, or Delta, like the retro console simulator on Outstore. And the security is still a priority, and this is a good thing because Apple manages the security itself, so it guarantees that your app won't be like altered, or like someone would not be able to have their app and pretend that they are you, right? So this is quite a great thing because notarization, fraud monitoring, encryption, etc. is made by Apple. So this is the time for your questions. If you have any, I'll be happy to answer.
All right. Any questions? Some question. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So my question is, how does the bundle ID works for the alternative marketplaces? Does it use the same Apple bundle ID, or do you get alternative marketplace bundle ID?
Mm-hmm. Do you mean, do we have, like, does Setup Mobile has which bundle ID it has, right? It has, like, if you make an alternative marketplace, it has to be a new application and a new application record. So you have to create your own. You have to create, you create any bundle identifier that you would like, and just simply share it with the app developers that you could collaborate with. So it can be anything you want. You have to get the entitlement from Apple, and without that entitlement, the alternate, like the distributions and app installation won't work. To get that entitlement, there are some like procedure, but I skip that for today.
So, I don't know if I missed the context, but why only European Union? Like, did they win something here? What do we need to do to get this in other countries as well?
Yeah, so basically, this is a result of the Digital Markets Act that the European, so basically European Commission said to Apple that there must be like alternative marketplaces on the market. There are similar laws preparing or being almost like active in other countries like the UK, Brazil, and probably Japan, if I remember correctly. So yeah, initially it was like a Digital Market Act.
Yeah. So the short answer to that is we set the standards. DMA, DSA, AI Act. This is the next one coming. Right, next question.
My question is related to the web distribution. So let's say we satisfy all the requirements and we have a high grossing app into the App Store and we want to add the web distribution. So what would be the benefit for our company? Like, is it better for acquiring people, for acquiring customers?
Well, App Store has a pretty good acquisition, I believe. I'm not like a marketing guy, but yes. But if you set up like your funnels and marketing really cool, your website could have like a pretty great acquisition power. But I see more benefits in that app distributed through the web has more relaxed rules about like notarization and App Store review. So you can add some functionality that like is not strictly allowed in the App Store, but allowed like through other places. And you also can have like alternative payment options in your app or some financial models here as well.
And what about if a user has sideloaded the app from the web? What happens if they find it in the App Store? Like, do they get the same error? Or
most probably, yeah.
Okay.
Initially, if they like download it through the App Store, it would override the app installed from other source. But now everyone like have the same rights for that.
All right, next question.
Thanks for the talk. I wanted to ask about the entitlements and the notarization. So how relaxed it is. Can I use just-in-time compilation entitlement with my app or other custom ones, or Apple would forbid it?
So your question is how easy to get the entitlement, right? So to get the entitlement it depends if you want a web distribution or an alternative marketplace. You want a web distribution, right? Yeah, so you have to comply with the legal terms, like you have your developer account running for more than 2 years, and your app has to be like really popular to have more than 1 million downloads. This is like a constraint to get the entitlement. But if your app does, you can apply on Apple website, and I think if they don't, and if you comply all the requirements, you can do that pretty easily.
All right, do we have a last question? Yep.
So, is it the same app that you want to have web distributed that has to have 1 million downloads?
Sorry?
There's like a requirement for 1 million first installs.
Yes,
Is that on the same app that you want to distribute on the web, or just any of your apps?
The same app, but you want to distribute through the web.
Doesn't that kind of like destroy the whole more lenient notarization, because then it has to be in the App Store with like the stricter review?
Yeah,
first,
so
right?
you cannot have like a fresh app that you would like to distribute from the web directly. So yeah, you have to be previously available on the App Store to then go to the web. But for the fresh apps, you can only go through the alternative distributions to have like less stricter rules.
Okay. All right, so give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you. I actually have a small Easter egg. Could you please enable the screen again for for
Yeah,
short?
one slide.
Yeah. So the previous speaker showed like a funny moment from documentation. I also found one. So this is basically a screenshot from a developer page, and it said like, "This method will never return successfully."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a bug; it's a feature. But yeah, grazie mille per tutti.